back to question number one.
I was just going to say.
Was, when I started the podcast, I think it catapulted everything in my life to change. My marriage fell apart. I went from being married and having a stepson to just being my son and I, having to suddenly move out, packing our stuff in plastic bags because it got so weird so fast. And my whole life shifted. And I was like, wait a second, I just started a podcast. And how am I going to hide this? Was kind of my first thought.
Right.
Like, not hide it, but that's not what I started the podcast about.
Right.
And so then all of a sudden my whole podcast really shifted more to this oxygen first premise and how I've been navigating this really wild year of intense personal stress. And then my son's appendix
and then the health,
stuff happened, and they took like 3 weeks to take the thing out. He was hospitalized multiple times. He didn't have a fever, so they didn't want to take it out. Like, it was this. And then our dog got kidnapped.
Oh gosh.
Like, a homeless guy walked in our house and stole the dog. Like, it's been thing after thing. And so my podcast has reflected these personal stories of struggle and how I have each week regrouped, found my way to have oxygen first. And a lot of that's been like grieving. And for myself, I had to honor a couple of days in bed. I don't do that.
Right.
Like, there was one day I stayed in bed till like 11 in the morning. I actually even put a coffee pot next to my bed. It's a genius hack. But the grief, I needed to deal with the grief, or I can't do my business. But luckily I have a laptop lifestyle and I can like pretty much work on my laptop in my home or wherever I am. So it hasn't affected clients and it hasn't really affected things. But it's not what I started my podcast about. I didn't think I'd be sharing about this really weird divorce journey while not really saying anything. I don't want to, say anything confidential or throw anyone under the bus. It's what it is. It's been hard though. And it's been hard to navigate through my business and this podcast. And it's also become what it has because it all happened.
Which is so great.
It's cool. I think things happen for us, not to us.
Mm-hmm.
I totally believe that. And I think this whole year has happened for me.